Welcome back to another season of The Wild Shuffle with your host, House of Chilling. We recently finished Survivor Africa, so of course, the first thing we need to do is look at this beautiful DVD cover that just dropped as the season has finished, and now we need to see what the DVD cover looks like. I actually, for the first time, had a hard time limiting it to 6 for this one, so it was a really good season last time, and I could have chose more than 6 people. So these are the 6 I chose. I felt like these were the 6 biggest characters from the season, and I think this cover looks great. So now we are going to move on to the Marquesas, Season 4. Here's our cast. Let's talk about them. Amanda Craig was from a very early season of Big Brother. I feel like it was Big Brother 3, but it might have been Big Brother 4. Was not in the game very long. Good social player. I believe she was aligned with some of the guys in the house, but was not in the house very long. So has some potential here, but nothing that is like super standing out. But we do have somebody who is a super standout in Cody Calafiori. Calafiori. Sorry. Cody Calafiori. He is a winner of Big Brother. He also made it to the very end of the game in another season. Considered one of the best Big Brother players of all time, in my opinion. Probably would have won, absolutely would have won his first season if he didn't take Derek to the end. So he's got good social game, good physical game, and fairly good strategic. I'd say strategic is his weak point, where we should say he's great socially, great physically, great in the challenges, but strategically is good. But we did see in something like the Traders, he can get sort of overwhelmed when the strategy becomes too much. Then we have Dan Kay. Dan Kay was on Survivor Gabon. He's somebody who's good at the challenges, really likable guy, really friendly guy, doesn't really have the strategic game down, but socially he's going to connect well with people. I could see him and Cody getting along well. Then we have JP Calderon. He is from Survivor Cook Islands originally. Sort of thing he was most known for was he got really mad at Billy Garcia for sucking in the challenges. I believe him and Ozzy, but it seemed like I think it was a bit more his plan to sort of throw a challenge to try to get Billy Garcia out of there. So I see JP as somebody who is good at challenges, good strategically, but could kind of be seen as that villain, right? I don't think he's going to get along great socially with people, and I think he's going to be willing to make moves that are quite cutthroat. So I could see him aligning with the two guys next to him, Dan and Cody, but I also could see him being willing to cut them when necessary. Then we have Jenna Lewis in her first season here. Jenna Lewis, in the real universe, as we know, goes on to play 2 more seasons. Somebody who in her first season's absolutely just here for a good time, to have fun, to be part of this experience. But she has that strategic ability too, right? She has an ability to see the game in a strategic way, but not necessarily maybe the most social game. So I think she struggles to get her strategy off the ground, right? She has these strategic plays that she wants to do, but has trouble kind of building the crew together to get those across the board. Then we have Jessie Kolowaski. She's from one of the teen seasons of Big Brother. I don't remember exactly what season. Definitely was somebody who did well socially, was in some alliances, was somebody who did decent in the challenges. So a decent overall player, I'd say, fairly average player. Somebody who could absolutely go far in the game, but also could be somebody who goes out early. Then we got Sabaya Broderick. I should know that because it's the same last name as Matthew Broderick. Why can't I say it after Sabaya? Sabaya Broderick. Anyway, Sabaya is somebody who played in a fairly recent season of Survivor, New Era. I don't remember the exact season, but she was somebody who's very good at the challenges, sort of a strong member on a very weak tribe. And that was kind of her downfall, right? Very good socially, very good in the challenges. Seemed to have good strategic prowess as well, but was on a very bad tribe, lost a lot of people, and then I believe either got idled out or kind of blindsided. But she's somebody who I think could do very well in this game, has all the things we're kind of looking for in terms of a good survivor. Then we have Tevin Davis. Tevin's a fun player. Again, a new era player. Don't remember the exact season. I remember who was on the season with him, but I don't remember what the number of that season is. Anyway, seen as a very good strategic player, somebody who is very social and very strategic. And that's such a good combination in Survivor, right? Because he's the type of person who can build those alliances and then get his plans to happen, where Jenna Lewis doesn't necessarily have that good of a social game, so she has trouble getting her plans off the ground. Tevin can get those plans off the ground because he is so good socially. Tevin's biggest problem here is going to be the same problem he had in his real life season, is that he's such a strong social and strategic player that he becomes an obvious target at some point. And that's what happened in his season, earlier season, so maybe the people don't catch on to it, but that would be my concern for Tevin, that if he can't win challenges, I'm not saying he can't, there's nothing about him that makes me think he's horrible at challenges, but my concern would be that if he can't win a bunch of challenges at the end, people are going to see how big of a threat he is and get him out of the game. Then we have the Road to Tribe. We have Austin Madelson. He was on Big Brother 15 or 16, I want to say. It was the same one as Vanessa. So whatever season that was. Yeah, kind of just a meathead, right? I think he's a wrestler or something, so he's good at the challenges if they're physical. Didn't seem to have the most, be that great at the mental challenges or anything like that. Was decent socially and strategically, got himself in the majority alliance, was able to get to almost the end of the game just by doing that. Somebody that I think absolutely could go far in this game, but does he have the strategic ability to explain his game? I don't know. Then we have Brittany D'Angelo. To be honest, I did not know who this was. I think she was on Big Brother 23. I thought I've seen most of the more recent big seasons of Big Brother, but I must have missed her season. But sort of from what I looked up, looks like she was somebody who's good socially, a bit of an emotional player. So I'm thinking she might be getting in some fights and causing some drama here. I don't think she's incredibly strategic, but I don't think she's somebody who's horribly strategic either. Then we have Chelsea Meisner. She was somebody who she played in that, can't remember what the season was called, but the one that Kim Spradlin won, and made it all the way to the end with Kim Spradlin. And I think the belief sort of is about Chelsea is that she was playing a really good game, but just kind of got overshadowed by Kim Spradlin, who was playing one of the greatest games of all time. So I think Chelsea's definitely an above average player, can do good in challenges, do good and understand the game strategically, and very good socially. So absolutely somebody who could be a threat to go far here. Then we have Jonathan Hurley. He was end of the 30s, right? I think the Dom and Wendell season he was in. I think that was Ghost Island, whatever number that was. Jonathan, fan favorite, sort of a chaotic player in my opinion, somebody who really is going to react on those emotions, good socially, so he can get himself into these alliances, understands the game strategically, but I don't know if I would call him a big strategic threat. Definitely somebody who's going to be fun to have on the season, because I think he's somebody who could be changing the way the game is going based on how his emotions are going. Then we have the only Survivor winner that we have in this season, and that's Michelle Fitzgerald. Michelle Fitzgerald is sort of the player that's, when you think of the social game of Survivor and a social game winner, that's Michelle Fitzgerald. She's able to make those alliances to get her far in the game. She's came back since, made it to the end of season 40, Winners at War. She's played a bunch of times in the challenge, and what we're always seeing is she's being included in alliances. She's getting far in these games because of her social ability, her ability to create bonds and get in those alliances. She's no slouch strategically. She understands the game strategically, but she doesn't play like an openly super strategic game. And that was sort of the difference between her and Aubrey in their season. Michelle was making those bonds where people felt like they wanted to vote for her. Aubrey was playing potentially a better strategic game, but wasn't making those bonds, so people didn't see what she was doing. They didn't have that understanding of Aubrey's game. Michelle's also good in challenges. She's on the challenge. She can absolutely hold her own in the challenges as well. Definitely somebody who I think, and last time I said this about Aris, and He went out early, but I think Michelle is somebody who in any of these games is going to go far most of the time just because she is above average Survivor player and has everything sort of that is in those check boxes of what it takes to be successful in Survivor. Then we have Mike Boogie. Mike Boogie is the other Big Brother winner that we have here. He won Big Brother All-Stars. He is somebody who I think in the last bunch of years has kind of went off the deep end. But in terms of his Big Brother game, he's somebody who's kind of social, but also very emotional, very willing to get in fights with people. So if you're good with him, you're good with him. He's the loyal guy. But if you're not, he is willing to get in fights with you. And when I say he's loyal until he feels like you've done him wrong, and then he's not going to be loyal. He has an above average strategic game. He understands the game strategically, knows what moves need to be made, but sometimes his emotions can get in the way. Without somebody like Dr. Will kind of guiding the game, I don't know how good he'll do, but I think he is in the top half of players in this game for sure. Then we have Susie Smith from Survivor Gabon. Not a lot I have to say about Susie. In Survivor Gabon, she was kind of just there. She made it to the end of the game because nobody thought she was going to have a chance at winning. Somebody who wasn't doing a lot, but also was getting in a lot of fights and causing a lot of drama and stuff like that. So that's, I think, our best case scenario from Susie here, that she causes a lot of fights while she's here. And then lastly, we have William Collins. He was from the first season of Big Brother, so I didn't know anything about him. Turns out he's actually the first ever player to be evicted from Big Brother. So he was out in the first season of Big Brother. I guess during his time there, he was somebody who was very outspoken, having conversations about a strategic game, but also getting in lots of arguments and stuff like that. So I think he is somebody who could be interesting in this season in terms of getting into some fights and causing some drama and stuff like that. Okay, I have to do a winner pick before we get through this. I'm going to pick Tevin Davis. I think that his biggest issue is going to be becoming too big of a threat too early, and I know often that's the case with my winner picks, but I do think he just has that raw talent, and I'd rather pick somebody who has the abilities to win and could get spotted too early than somebody like picking somebody who I don't really think has the abilities, like a Susie Smith, and just saying 9 times out of 10 she probably gets to the end because everybody knows they can beat her. So we're going with Tevin Davis as our winner pick. Let's see how this goes. No alliances on Mariamu. No alliances on Rotu. First challenge. This tribe wins immunity. It doesn't say which tribe this is, and I don't know the names yet. I think that's Rotu. Yeah, that was Rotu. Oh, no, that was Mariamu, because that was these people. So Jesse and Sabaya bond slightly. Jenna and Sabaya have a small fight. Sabaya works hard at camp and becomes tired. So far, everything at this camp happening is around Sabaya. Will Mega has a major meltdown. Okay, yes, when I was looking him up, he goes by Will Mega. That's like his nickname. So he's having a meltdown here. Could cause him to be a first boot because Rotu is the tribe that lost. Rotu's here at Tribal Council. All we've seen is the Will Collins or Will Mega meltdown, the Mega meltdown. So that would kind of be my guess of who's going to go home, but we'll see here. Will Mega, Brittany, Will Mega, Brittany, Will Mega, Will Mega, Will Mega. The tribe has spoken for Will Mega. He goes first, just like he did in Big Brother. It seems like it was just around that meltdown. I don't think they had much to go off, so in early Survivor, if something happens, you kind of vote accordingly. So let's just see here, because I think 3 people voted with him, and those 2 who voted with him, 3 people in total voted for Brittany. So let's see how that happened. Mike Boogie, Susie, and Will Mega. So got to think that Susie and Mike Boogie are going to be in trouble here if the other group that all voted out, if the other 5 stick together, then those 2 are potentially in trouble here. But we don't have any official alliances, so they could maybe get into one. Still no official alliances. This tribe seems to be the stronger tribe, the Mariamu tribe at this point. Mariamu dominating. So we get Cody and Tevin bonding strongly, and then we get our first alliance here. We got JP, Jesse, Sabaya, and Tevin. So good to see my winner pick Tevin here in the alliance. Sabaya seems to be doing the most so far in terms of bonding and stuff like that. Interesting that Tevin bonded with Cody, but then Cody's not in the alliance. That kind of leads me to think that this is maybe not an alliance that Tevin has created, but something that he's been brought into. Good for Tevin to have relationships outside of the alliance, but also be in the only alliance in the tribe so far, and the tribe is not going to tribal council. Rotu's going to tribal council. Austin and Brittany find something in common. Austin and Susie bond strongly, so Austin's putting in the work socially. Good for Austin. Looks like Brittany and Susie have a minor disagreement, and then we get an alliance here. So Donathan, Michelle Fitzgerald, and Mike Boogie. So this could be good for Mike Boogie, but the only thing is here, 3 is not a majority in this tribe, right? So hoping that these two, for Mike Boogie's sake, hoping that these two have enough influence on the rest of the tribe. There is no other alliances, so could be good here for Mike Boogie. Don't know who would go home here. Maybe one of these two just because they had a small disagreement. That's the only thing we have to go off. Proceed. Okay, so it is time to read the votes here. Let's see what goes down. Austin gets the first vote. Interesting, because I felt like he was doing a lot of good work. Susie gets the next vote. Susie gets the next vote. Susie, Austin, Austin. Okay, so we're at 3-3 with 1 vote left. 3 votes Austin, 3 votes Susie. This is a very split tribe. Let's see how this goes down. Austin is the 4th person vote out. Interesting, because I felt like he was doing such good work. Let's see how this went down. So Austin, Brittany, Chelsea, they vote Susie. So then it looks like that alliance of 3 decided they wanted Austin out and pulled Susie in for that. So this alliance of 3 did end up being the decision makers at the end of the day because they were able to pull Susie in. Interesting to see if they maybe bring her into an alliance or something like that. But that was good news for, I believe it was Boogie and Susie, who were on the outs of the last vote. They were able to get themselves in on this vote. This is the sort of breakdown right now, or the people left in the game. So each tribe now has 1 alliance. We have this alliance, and we have this alliance. The Mariamu tribe can't lose. I'm glad that there's at least 1. I think there might be 2 swaps in this season, and that's good because we are getting a bit of a tagging early. Yeah, so this tribe's staying strong. Mariamu wins again. Jenna and Jesse bond slightly. Jesse is impressing the rest of her tribe, and now a new alliance forms, which is Cody, Dan, Jenna, and Jesse. Now, I don't think any of these people are in the other alliance, so that could mean on this tribe we have 2 alliances of 4 different people, which would be very interesting if they go to tribal, especially because this is the first season where rocks are a thing, so that could be very interesting. We'll check when we get next time to this tribe status where it shows both the alliances, just to make sure there's no overlap, but I do believe that we have 2 alliances with completely different people. Donathan and Boogie have a minor disagreement. Michelle and Boogie bond slightly, and now Boogie is leaving this alliance. So that's not a good sign for Boogie, who was already in the minority of the tribe. These 2 kind of took him in, and although he's bonding with Michelle, he's getting in that disagreement with Donathan, not part of the alliance anymore. So this could mean lights out for Boogie early. So let's see how the vote goes here. Brittany gets the first vote, then Susie. Then Brittany. Okay, so Boogie was not in trouble at all. Getting in some arguments early, but was able to keep himself in the game. It looks like everybody voted Brittany except for Brittany, who voted Susie. We haven't really seen too much drama or anything in this tribe. I know these 2 were fighting slightly, so maybe that's why Brittany went home here, but nothing really to show why she went home. And again, I could turn on the reasoning and targets, but I just felt like that was spoiling what was happening every tribal. So I'd rather kind of be surprised and try to figure it out what's going on rather than have that happening. Okay, so this is what our season's looking like so far. And if we do a little sneak peek, it looks like there is going to be a twist, which I think is a tribe swap. So let's see how this goes. The castaways are asked to stand on discs. They must flip their disc to see their new tribe. The number of players per tribe stays the same. So I do like this method for swapping tribes much better than we saw in the last season, because this could cause any random numbers to happen rather than in the other one where we're swapping 3 and 3, and if a tribe has more members, then they're going to be able to keep that majority on their tribe. Okay, so let's look at the new tribes here. So we got Amanda, Chelsea, Donathan, JP, Jesse, Mike Boogie, Sabaya, and Tevin. So this Mariamu tribe keeps a Mariamu majority. This actually went, it looks like the swap went very good for Mariamu, especially because we know in those 4-person alliances, these 3 are for sure in that alliance. And then I can't remember the 4th member. So we'll look at it. I think it might be Jesse. So they might have their full alliance here. And then on row 2, we have Cody, Dan, Jenna, Michelle, and Susie. So Michelle and Susie seem to be in trouble here. But I don't think these 3 are all working together. So we could see them be able to pull somebody over. It'll be very interesting to see. Let's look at this. So yeah, this full alliance for Mariamu all swapped together, which is great news for them. So it was... Let's just look at this. So Jesse was the one who was in both of the alliances. So if it would have kept together, we were talking about how there was going to be 4 and 4 and they were all different. But no, Jesse's in both. So there was somebody on that tribe who was not in either of the alliances. So, but what's interesting here for the Mariamus is this full alliance is now still in Mariamu. And these 3 all went to row 2. So bad news for the row 2 all around, because not only did they swap in minorities, but they swapped in minorities where the majority is all working together. And that's what we see here too, right? And these 2 who are working together aren't even on the same tribe. So maybe they'll flip and just try to last to the merge, but looking good for Mariamu right now on both sides. Row 2 wins immunity. So the smaller tribe getting to win immunity with this new, that's nice. Amanda and Boogie bond strongly. Jesse and Boogie bond slightly. So Boogie's putting in that work because he knows he's in the minority. Jesse's leaving this alliance, which is interesting. With her bonding with Boogie, is she going to try to flip on the old Mariamu? That would be interesting. Let's see what happens here. My apologies if there's like some loud wind or rain. We're currently having like a storm going on, so I just heard the wind. If you're picking that up, I apologize. Cody and Dan bond strongly. This was a duo I talked about at the start that I thought could be a duo together. Looks like Jen is leaving the alliance as well. So maybe when these 2 are bonding so much, she's kind of feeling left out, and that could lead her to working with the other 2, because that tribe has 5. So we're seeing some potential cracks. But now the other tribe will be going to tribal council. So Mariamu is going to tribal council. The only thing here is Jesse did leave this alliance, so could she be working with these row 2 members? She was bonding a bit with Mike Boogie. Let's figure it out. First vote, Donathan. Next vote, Amanda. Next vote, Amanda. Next vote, Amanda. Next vote, Donathan. So it's 3-2. 4 votes, Amanda. And Amanda's voted out of the tribe. So they did vote out of Mariamu. Let's see how this went down. But it was more of a majority. Only one other person voted with Amanda. So Amanda was voting Donathan. Obviously, the row 2s voted Amanda. JP voted Amanda. So Jesse was the only person to not vote with Amanda. So that's interesting. She leaves the alliance not because she wants to work with the row 2. She's leaving the alliance because the rest of her alliance wants to work with row 2, and she's wanting to stay loyal to Mariamu. So she's trying to stay loyal with Amanda. They all vote out Amanda, and she votes Donathan, potentially putting herself as a target now because everyone else votes Amanda. So she left these 3 because these 3 were going to work with them, at least for a vote. Interesting. So we got the same alliances here on Mariamu, same alliances on row 2. Row 2 wins reward. Row 2 wins immunity. So now we're seeing the opposite, but at least tribe-wise, it's the other tribe. So number-wise, we're getting closer. Jesse and Tevin bond slightly. JP now leaves this alliance, which is interesting. So Sabaya and Tevin are a duo. Does this mean something's going on where they're not all 3 in alignment? Let's see. Dan and Susie find something in common. It has a lasting impact. Okay, so this could be up in the air anywhere. If they vote out another Mariamu, now it's even numbers-wise, so that could put them in trouble. But it doesn't seem like, other than Sabaya and Tevin, the Mariamus are even getting along. So, but again, none of these players are really playing with each other either. So, gonna be interesting here. First vote, Jesse. Next vote, Donathan. Next vote, Donathan. Donathan, 3-1 Donathan. Fifth person voted out is Donathan. 6-1 on Donathan. So I guess Mariamu's like, we're now going to get rid of Donathan. They tell the other Rotus and are like, you can vote with us or against us. They decide. None of them are actively working with Donathan, so it's better for them to try to get in good with Mariamu and vote Donathan out as well. Okay, so these are the breakdown. We're losing original Rotu members very fast. We're down to already only 4 original Rotu members. Here's our alliances. Rotu wins reward. Rotu wins immunity. So this has really been a battle of just dominant tribes, but the tribe swap at least put some parity there. However, the way the swap went, we're still losing a lot of original Rotu. Chelsea and Boogie have a major fight. It has lasting impact. So they're both original Rotu. So probably everybody kind of going for their self at this point. They might be the only 2 Rotu left on this tribe. So that would make sense. Jesse and Sabaya find something in common. Now we get a new alliance forming. So JP's back with these 2, but now they're bringing in Chelsea Meisner, which is interesting. So we have an interesting little cross-tribal alliance here. These 4 definitely have the majority if they want to vote whoever they want out. Chelsea's made it very clear she's not with Boogie. This could be Boogie's time to go. And then Chelsea's kind of cemented herself in with some of the Mariamu members. Jenna and Michelle bond strongly. Dan and Susie bond slightly. Dan and Susie find something in common. So Dan and Susie are really getting along here. So much so that they form an alliance, just the 2 of them. This has become a duo now. And this is what's cool about having us have that tribe swap, right? Because these are 2 people from different tribes who are now become a very strong duo. So however they're bonding, they're now a very strong duo. And they're probably not going to be a known duo, right? Because they're from 2 different original tribes. So even though we might lose another Rotu here, the Rotus like Susie and Chelsea are putting in the work, so there should be at least a couple Rotus getting to the merge, but we'll have to see. Jesse gets the first vote here. Boogie gets the second vote. Boogie gets the next vote. Boogie 3-1. Next person vote out is Boogie. Everybody voted for Boogie here. Makes sense. Chelsea and Boogie fought. She's with Mariamu now, so makes sense that she would vote Boogie out. Jessie is the only one who's not in that Mariamu-Chelsea alliance, but she has no reason to not vote Boogie out here, so Boogie goes out pretty unceremoniously. Okay, so we're down to only 3 original Rotus left, but we are going to the merge right now. So I guess there was only 1 swap in this season. Chelsea has herself sort of well insulated here, and now it's going to be interesting to see with these 3 if they go back with these people or if they're more loyal to Chelsea and vice versa. Okay, here's our Solitanu tribe. So these 3 are in a strong alliance with each other. These 2 are a strong duo, and then they also are in that alliance with JP and Chelsea, and then Dan and Susie are in an alliance together. So with the original Mariamu not having any like of their own alliances, this could be the kind of key alliance here, the alliance with Chelsea Meisner, and she could have just insulated herself very well in this game. Jessie wins the first individual immunity. I feel like that's good for her because I feel like originally she was in a bunch of alliances, but then she was kind of leaving alliances, and she hasn't really seemed to be part of anything, though she has been on the right side of the vote, so this could be good for her here. JP and Tevin get in a small fight. Jesse and Tevin bond slightly. Dan and Susie bond strongly. These 2 are just like, it doesn't seem like they're really super involved with anybody else. They're just super bonding at this point. Every time they're bonding, they're in a very strong alliance. I know Dan was broing down with Cody, but we haven't really heard anything about that recently, so it seems like Susie's his number 1. Now we get to the vote. Jesse has immunity. We haven't heard anything about where this vote could go. I think Michelle could be in trouble here because if you are going to think Mariamu, at least for this vote, is going to stick together, the OG Mariamus, Chelsea's going to be kept in by her 3. You would think Dan is going to keep Susie safe, and then Michelle is not with anybody. So if it goes down that way, my guess is Michelle's going home right now. First vote, JP. Next vote, Susie. Oh, interesting. Next vote, Susie. 2 vote, Susie. 1 vote, JP. JP, 2-2. Susie, 3-2. JP, 3-3. So this is I can't wait to see how this is all going down because Mariamu's, oh no, so Susie is, okay, so some of Mariamu's turning on themselves to vote out JP. Some of them are voting out Susie, who was row 2. Okay, so maybe, yeah, we'll have to see what happens here. Next vote, Susie. Next vote, JP. Next vote, Susie. Next vote, JP. Okay, so it's 5-5. So here's the important thing. There's going to be a revote. If the revote stays the same, it's going to go to rocks. And the players don't know about rocks yet. So we could have our first ever rock draw here. This could be interesting. First vote, JP. Next vote, Susie. Next vote, Susie. Next vote, JP. So we're still tied with 4 votes left. JP, Susie, tied with 2 votes left. Susie, so we needed JP for this to stay tied. Susie's voted out. Okay, so somebody did flip it back, but this is going to be very interesting to kind of break down here where we can see the votes. So, Cody's the one who changed his vote, but who was where were the people who were turning on their own Mariamu? Okay, so it looks like that makes sense. So the people, the Chelsea, because the initial vote was 4-4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. So it was 5-5. So the people voting Susie originally were the Tevin, Sabaya, JP alliance with Chelsea. So she's voting Susie. And then who was our other Susie vote here? Michelle. So they brought Michelle in. Makes sense. Michelle thinks, hey, somebody's going to include me in vote. I'm going to go with that. And then Jesse and Jenna here have decided, and Dan have decided they're going to turn on Mariamu. Makes sense that Dan would because he's so close with Susie, right? So and Cody's involved in this as well. Cody's close with Dan, so these people are not, and that's what I was saying, there's no big Mariamu alliance, so it's kind of the 2 Mariamu alliances fighting for each other. They thought they could keep Susie in this game, but on the revote, Cody decides not to risk his own game. But he doesn't know, they would have thought it would probably be like a trivia or something, but it would have risked his game. So a good move there for Cody, even if he didn't really realize it. And now we are down to this group, and I think this is going to be exciting. And even though we only have 2 people from the original Rotu tribe, things are messy. There's no clear big group running the game, so I think we're going to have some fun, messy tribal councils. And if we look at, we have these sort of alliances, so it's kind of this group versus this group, and then pulling in the other people. Michelle was working with this group last vote. If Michelle's working with them again, those 5 could definitely run things down a bit here. Excuse me. Michelle wins reward. Michelle wins immunity. So great for Michelle because she's now safe and kind of can be a decision maker here, or the swing vote. Dan and Jesse find something in common. JP and Michelle bond slightly. Oh, interesting. So Chelsea, wow. Chelsea's playing a great game here because now she's got herself in another alliance here. Chelsea, Cody, Jenna, and Michelle. So really good move by Chelsea to just be getting herself in these alliances, and wherever Chelsea goes now is probably going to determine the vote because both groups are going to think she's with them. Okay, so Michelle has the immunity necklace. I could see somebody like Jesse going here. Jesse's not in either of the 2 big alliances, so it's a good move for Chelsea if somebody like Jesse can go because then she's not exposing which side she's working with. First vote Jesse, next vote Jenna, next vote JP. Okay, so 3 J's, but 3 different votes. Next vote JP, 2-1-1 JP. Next vote Jesse, 2-2. Next vote Jenna. So we have 3 votes left, and it's 2-2-2. Very interesting. JP, so 3 votes for JP. Jesse, 3 votes for Jesse. And now we're going to get the first person voted out because they split it here. JP, wow. So JP goes out 4-3-2. Like I said, we're getting some very interesting tribal councils here because the tribe as a whole is so split. So let's see how this went down. So Chelsea, like I said, made sense for her to put her vote on Jesse. Even if Jesse doesn't end up going home, she doesn't show her cards, so she can still work with either of the groups. Cody's voting JP again. Dan's voting JP again. This makes sense. They were trying to get JP out last week. JP's trying to get out Jesse. Jenna's trying to vote out JP because she's working with Cody and Dan. Jesse's willing to vote out JP. Wasn't either, or she actually has an alliance with these two, so that makes sense. Michelle voted Jesse. So interesting that Michelle did not vote with that group that she was working with last time. So Michelle's showing that ability to go back and forth between alliances, do whatever is best for her. Now here's the weird thing by these two. These two could have put the votes on Jesse with their alliance, right? And saved their other alliance members. So I don't know why these two did this, because by voting Jenna, they had the majority. Michelle was not flopping back and forth. Michelle was working with the group that I don't know why I said that. She was working with that 5, but then these two didn't vote Jesse. If these two voted Jesse, everything would have gone to plan. So Tevin and Sabaya, I don't know why they did that. Maybe they felt like JP was going for too much control. They had been in an alliance with him before where he left, and then they formed a new one with him, but seems like the trust wasn't still fully there. So maybe these two are very smart players. They think, hey, we can vote Jenna, kind of sabotage, if they know where the votes are going, sabotage the thing on JP, but not technically take out JP. I don't know. That's what it seems like to me. Okay, so now now that it's the final eight, I kind of want to go through where I think everyone's playing, who I think is playing the best games. I think Chelsea's playing a great game right now, bouncing back in different alliances, very well connected. People are trusting her very well. Very good game. I think Cody's playing a decent game right now. I think he could definitely be somebody who, if he steps it up in the next couple votes, absolutely could be somebody who wins the game. He has alliances. He has good connections. He hasn't been getting targeted. So I think he absolutely could. Dan's been playing a good social game, right? We've seen him bonding with a lot of people. I think his problem is if he's too loyal to Cody, I think Cody beats him in the final too, right? So he has to either have Cody be taken out by somebody else, or if he takes out Cody, that'd be a huge move for him and absolutely capable of him winning. Jenna Lewis, I haven't seen her do a ton yet, but she, again, is working with Cody and Dan. I think this game's very open, I should say. So I think her making a couple moves could absolutely get her the win. Jesse's been kind of having to play an independent game, kind of going back and forth. Winning immunity challenges, so absolutely could be somebody who wins. Michelle's probably my top person to win right now. I think despite the fact that she's one of only 2 original Road 2s left, it doesn't seem like anyone's targeting her. She has the ability to work with either group. She's not in any alliances, but she's showing her challenge threat. She has that social game where she can kind of work with everybody. So Michelle's somebody I really think could have a good shot at winning. Then I'm going to talk about Sabaya and Tevin together because I think they've been working very closely together throughout the game. They would be the 2 before that last tribal council who I thought would have the best chance to win this game. They're dominating the game. I thought it would probably be a final 2 between them, and that would be a great final 2 where it's like, where are the votes going to go? But that Jenna Lewis vote kind of threw me off. They got rid of arguably their 3rd closest ally, and yeah, maybe there was things that we weren't seeing, and it seems like there was. It seems like there was some lack of trust there, but they didn't go all the way either, right? So if they would have been like, okay, we're done with JP, we're going to vote for JP, that could have earned back some of the trust of the people like Cody and Dan. But they didn't do that. Now they've probably made Jenna mad because they voted for her. So weird move. I think they can recover from it, but they really went down in my stock watch after the last episode. Here we see the alliances, and they still have that alliance with Chelsea. This alliance is a big one, and then this alliance, I forgot Michelle was in this alliance, so she didn't vote with them. Like, this alliance didn't vote together last time, but it could be sort of one of those things where it's like, we're forming an alliance, we're going to work together. Even if we're not always voting together, we're going to look out for each other. And if that's the case, I could see these 4 kind of running things down now that they have each other. Just looking at those alliances, Cody's in a good spot because he's in with a lot of different people. Excuse me, Cody and Jesse are paired up. Dan and Michelle, Chelsea and Sabaya, Jenna and Tevin. Jenna and Tevin win whatever this is, and they win a feast. And then Sabaya wins immunity. Very interesting. Okay, Jenna and Jesse have a small fight. Chelsea and Dan bond strongly. So I think I might have to take back something where I said I didn't think Dan could beat Cody in the end. Dan is making a lot of great social bonds. I feel like he's just a generally very likable guy. So if he's sitting in the end there, people might just be like, you know what, like, we like him, so we're going to vote for him. Is he playing an amazing game? Maybe not challenge-wise or strategically, but he's getting along with people, right? And that's a big thing in Survivor. So he is playing a very good social game. Jenna works hard at camp and becomes tired. Okay, so wow, not really sure where this vote's going to go. Again, I always think somebody like Jessie, who's just not that well connected. I know she's been in alliances, but she's somebody that could be a target. Somebody like Chelsea could be a target here if they're not all working together in her alliance. Let's see what happens here. Sabaya has the immunity necklace. First vote Jenna, next vote Michelle, next vote Jessie. So again, every single tribal is super fun here because nobody's on the same page. Next vote Jenna, 2 votes for Jenna, 1 for Jessie and Michelle. Michelle now gets her second vote and Jessie gets her second vote. Sorry, I saw that, so I just pulled this all together. So we're 2-2-2 with 2 votes left. Wow. Michelle gets another vote, so it's 3-2-2, and Jessie gets another vote. So now we have a tie, right? Yeah. So we have a tie between these two. So now the 2 people who voted for Jenna Lewis are going to be able to break this tie here and pick who goes home. So first vote Jessie, next vote Michelle, next vote Jessie, next vote Michelle. 2 votes left. You've got to think these are now going to be the 2 votes who voted Jenna previously, and now we're going to make the decision. So if they vote together, this is it. Michelle. Okay, so Michelle goes out here. Interesting, because I thought she was pretty well insulated. She goes out by a vote of 4-2. Let's see how this went down. So Chelsea votes Jessie. I think this is strong for Chelsea to just keep targeting Jessie. It really doesn't show her hands very much, although her alliances might think she's not super helpful if she's not working to actively get out the people they want out. So the Cody, Dan, and Jessie, I'm guessing is the other one, who are targeting Michelle. Jen is targeting Jessie with Chelsea. Yeah, so those 3 were going after Michelle. Michelle, Jenna, and Chelsea were going after Jessie. And then, oh my goodness. So then these 2 again just did the same thing. So I don't know what these 2 are doing, but they completely stayed out of the vote, just vote as a voting block together, even though they're in other alliances, I think, or maybe they're not in any other alliance. Regardless, like, they're just doing their own thing, and it's always against Jenna Lewis. So they both vote Jenna Lewis, then they become the decision makers and vote out Michelle. So it's chaotic, it's weird, I don't know what's going on, but I am enjoying it. I'm not mad at these 2 for doing it, I'm just wondering what's going on. So let's see the alliances here, because are Sabaya and Tevin with anybody else, or are they just... Yeah, so they are in that alliance with Chelsea, and they never vote with Chelsea. And then Chelsea's in the alliance with these 2, but I don't think she voted with those 2 last time either. I think because these 3 went after the person who went home, Michelle, and then Chelsea, Michelle, and... somebody else. Okay, I'm confused by this, but I'm really confused by what these 2 are doing. Tevin wins reward. Of course he takes Sabaya. That's a very strong duo. Tevin wins immunity. Interesting. I like that for him because I feel like he's playing a good game, but having an immunity win is a good thing. And I say playing a good game, but a weird game for sure. Chelsea and Dan find something in common. Cody and Sabaya bond strongly. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so Tevin has the immunity. Again, not sure where this is going to go. We'll break it down after because that's much easier than me trying to figure this out. First vote is Sabaya. Uh-oh. Next vote, Sabaya. Next vote, Dan. Next vote, Dan. 3-2, Sabaya. Sabaya goes out. So it looks like now what's happened is Tevin and Sabaya have kind of been like, we're a duo and we're going to do our own thing. So everyone's like, okay, we're just going to take out this duo then. Because everybody, for the first time, all got on the same page. Everybody voted Sabaya out. Big challenge, so that makes sense. And then these 2 vote Dan K because these 2 have sort of exposed themselves. So now the problem is, and it's funny because not in this exact way, but I was talking about how at some point Tevin might have to win out. He's at that point now where he's going to have to win out, or he is very good socially. Like, he's going to have to build something now. Maybe not being in that duo will help him kind of branch out, but he's going to have to put it on if I want my first ever winner pick to win. We're down to the final 6 here. So Cody and Dan seem pretty well insulated, but that whole group, so it seems like these kind of all are working together at this point. I mean, and that just leaves Tevin on the outs, right? Tevin wins reward. He gets an overnight stay, but he needs to win that immunity too. He wins that immunity. Okay, so Tevin's doing what he needs to do, and even if he can't win out, this will be a big one for him because now they're going to have to all turn on each other. Chelsea and Jesse bond strongly. I guess Chelsea, okay, so they were in that alliance and that dissolves. And now a new alliance forms. And so see, this is what I'm talking about. Now Tevin's got himself in another alliance where Jesse's super loyal to this. Dan K is super loyal to this. Jenna's kind of loyal and Tevin's, but this is big for Tevin here, right? So Tevin could be putting on the jet fuel late to get this win. So we have 6 people. He just formed that 4-person alliance with Tevin, Jesse, Jenna, and Dan. So that might put these 2 in jeopardy. I do think Cody and Chelsea are fairly well insulated, so this is going to be interesting. But maybe that's the thing, right? Maybe these 4 are like, those 2 are too good, and we have to get them out if we want a chance to win. And I could see, if that is the case, I could see Tevin putting that in these 3's ears, and that's how he kind of is getting himself back in. First vote, Jesse. Next vote, Chelsea. Next vote, Chelsea. Chelsea, Jesse, Chelsea, Chelsea. Yeah, so that seems to be what happened, right? Because now, I know she was the last original row to, but it didn't seem like that was mattering. She was well insulated. But you got to think that Tevin went to those people and said, we have to target these 2 because they're going to win the game if we don't. And those 2 vote Jesse, and everybody else votes Chelsea. So this group of 4 now seems to be running the game. Cody potentially in trouble for being too much of a target. So we'll see if these 4 do it. If that is the case, great move by Tevin here. Tevin's really saved himself and just shown how strong of a player he is. But did he show too much of how strong he is? If he doesn't win immunity, are they still going to pick him off? So here's our alliances. Cody wins reward. He wins the car curse, but the car curse actually didn't happen because I just remembered right now when I said the car curse that Jam won the car last season. So there's no car curse in our universe. Maybe there's a car luck, and maybe now Cody wins the game. If that's the case, the car luck will be a thing. Cody wins immunity. That's huge for Cody because he was potentially going to be targeted here, right? Because now the other 4 have to pick on another target. And then Tevin goes straight to work, bonding with him, bonding with Jenna. Great work by Tevin here. Has lasting impact. Jenna's impressing the rest of the team. So these 4 are all in an alliance together, but he's safe. So now they're going to have to turn on each other. This could be bad news for Tevin, honestly, because they voted with him when he was immune. He's putting in so much good work. He's won 2 immunities. I feel like if these 3 are playing the game smart, they're going to go back with Cody and vote Tevin out because Tevin's the best player. I hope it doesn't happen because he's my winner pick and I'm excited about the game he's playing, but we'll have to see. First vote Tevin, Next vote Tevin, Dan, Tevin's voted out, yeah. So he made some good moves, but ultimately he became too big of a threat. And it's funny because I had said I thought that was going to happen sort of throughout the game. He kind of was playing this weird game with Sabaya where they were not playing great. Sabaya's gone. He flips the game around, doing great, but then just shows how great of a player he is. So unfortunately, we lose Tevin here. Unfortunately, I lose a winner pick again. And now we're going to the finale. So in terms of this finale, sort of a weaker 4, I'll be honest, right? Like, I think this has been a really fun season, but I don't think any of these 4 stick out to me as somebody who's played a great game. I think we have other people who have gone home already who I think were playing better games, the Chelseas of the world, the Tevins of the world, the Sabayas of the world. These 2 I'm kind of seeing as the best players here. Cody, because he's been playing a good game with good alliances. He put a target on himself, but was able to keep that off with the immunity win. But if that target's still here, these 3 are still working together. They could take him out. And then out of these 3, I think Dan K, it's funny because I said I don't think he can win, but he's just doing so well socially. I think if he's at the end with one of these 2, they might just be like, well, we really like Dan, so we're just going to vote for him. Now we get a look at the alliances. So yeah, everybody's in something here. Dan K wins immunity. Dan and Jesse bond strongly. Jesse gets injured, but gets treated to stay in the game. So Dan has the immunity here. My thought would kind of be Cody's probably the biggest threat on the board. Do they take him out? These three are also in an alliance together, so let's see. First vote Jesse, next vote Cody, next vote Jesse, next vote Cody. Okay, so we have a tie here. If they go back to a tie again, we could see a rock draw, which really did happen in this spot in Survivor Marquesas. That's the first ever rock draw. So Cody, Jesse. Final vote was Cody, Jesse. Okay, so we're seeing our first ever rock draw. So because the vote is deadlocked, rocks will be drawn. Because Dan K has immunity, he's safe. Now these three all go to a rock draw, which is what happened in the first season of Marquesas. In that spot, Pascal English went, which is in the Jenna spot where he didn't get any votes. So let's see what happens here. Okay, I don't want to like scroll this down too quickly here. Whoever draws the okay, I did anyway. Oh no, it says okay. Jesse draws a normal color rock. Jenna draws the odd color rock and is eliminated. Okay, it's weird. It's weird how they revealed it, but Jenna did go out in exactly the same way as Pascal English. She didn't get any votes, but pulls the first ever rock draw in the Marquesas Final Four and goes home. Jenna, the tribe has spoken. The game has spoken. Oh, does it always say that? The game has spoken? Interesting. Cody voted for Jesse. Dan voted for Cody. Oh, interesting. So despite them being close, Dan was playing the strategic game and saying, hey, I need to cut Cody, which I wondered if he'd be able to do. So if he wins this last immunity, maybe he'll do that again. So Jenna and Cody were voting together. Dan and Jesse were voting together. And ultimately, Jenna goes home. So that could be a bit of trouble for Cody, who is already being targeted. And now, if he doesn't win immunity, either of these two probably take him out. So yeah, these three are together, but this seems to be the stronger thing. I mean, it's both 9 strength, but they seem to be wanting to take him out. Very strong trio, though, in terms of their... Okay, Cody wins immunity. Wow. So now it's going to be interesting to see who Cody takes out here. I'd love to see him take Dan just because I said I didn't think Dan could beat him at one point in this game. Now I do think Dan could potentially beat him, but let's see. I think Cody's a smart enough player. He probably just cuts Dan and is then able to beat Jesse in this game. Cody and Jesse find something in common. Cody and Jesse bond strongly. Dan and Jesse find something in common. Okay, Cody has the immunity necklace. He votes out Dan. Okay, that was the move to do. Dan goes out here, and we get a Cody versus Jesse final 2. Interesting that Cody knew to make the right move here because he definitely didn't in his first season of Big Brother. Okay, so Cody versus Jesse in the final. I have to think Cody's going to win here, but Jesse did do a good job of working with a lot of different people. So if people feel like, hey, I worked with Jesse, that could be the case. But she was also getting votes the whole time. Like I feel like a lot of people were targeting her throughout. But again, that's a negative and a pro, right? Because she survived all that. Okay, finals wait for the vote to be revealed. First vote, Jesse. Next vote, Cody. Cody, 2 votes for Cody. Jesse. Okay, so Jesse has the lead right now with a 3-2 vote. Jesse. And Jesse wins the game. Wow, so Jesse wins by a vote of 5-2. So I guess the thing with Cody, and I've said Cody was a good social player, but I don't think in this game he was making the social connections and stuff. He was making the right strategic moves, but I think Jesse just played a better social game, and the people felt more bonded to Jesse because you get somebody like Chelsea voting for Jesse, Dan K voting for Jesse, when Dan was close with Cody for a lot of the game. But Dan might have been hurt by him voting him out there. JP votes for Cody, who they didn't really have that much of a connection. Jenna votes for Cody, which makes sense because they were voting together at the rock draw. And then Michelle votes Jesse, Sabaya votes Jesse, Devin votes Jesse. So interesting how it was such a dominant vote the wrong way that I thought it was going to go. Brittany wins the fan favorite. So I've continued to talk about this where it will just sometimes be a very random person winning the fan favorite. Brittany winning the fan favorite makes no sense for the season, so we're not going to acknowledge that in terms of it's not like now we're going to bring back Brittany because she won the fan favorite. When she went out early and didn't do anything in the game. Jesse wins the game. So interesting season here. I feel like it was maybe not the biggest in terms of characters, but there was some big fun characters and some real crazy votes. So in terms of the pre-jury, there's no one I really think is a lock to come back. Donathan maybe for something like a second chances. Boogie for maybe a second chances. And then once we look at the juror, JP was interesting. I could see him potentially coming back. Michelle, I think, played a good game. I'd definitely like to see her come back. Sabaya played a really good game. I'd definitely like to see her come back. Chelsea played a good game. I could see her come back. Tevin played a really fun game. Tevin will definitely be back. And I think that's why I was so discouraged when I saw the Final Four, because I think the five first boots of that the five first jury boots are all like people who would be like who were playing good games and would have been super fun to see win the game. And then we kind of had a less exciting, to be polite, for here. Jenna Lewis, I didn't see her do much this game. I mean, I guess there's something where you could bring her back because she got kind of screwed by the rock draw, but not something I'm looking to bring back super quickly here. Dan Kay could absolutely be brought back. He played a fun game, just a very fun guy, but was willing to make the moves when he needed to, I guess, so to speak, but more just sort of that guy who made really good bonds with everybody and was very well liked. Cody played a good game here. I don't really know what he could have done too much more different other than maybe just kind of create more bonds. I think, ironically, because I think Cody Calafleury in real life is a very good social player, I think he could have played a little bit better socially here. Didn't make the connections with the jury. And Jessie, interesting win here for Jessie. I sort of felt like she was on the outs for a lot of it, but she was making those connections to the point where the jury just liked her better, right? And is that Jessie making a ton of great moves? Is that Cody maybe annoying the jury more? Like, did Cody Russell Hantz himself a bit here? Potentially, but a good win for Jessie nonetheless. We're going to go to our document here, and I am going to put Jessie number 4 in the winner rankings and number 4 in the GOAT rankings, just because I wasn't seeing it. If it was a very under the radar social game, which is absolutely good and is not going to necessarily be the worst win, but I really think these are 3 strong winners, even though Jam had his faults. I think these two are going to be hard to beat in terms of they played very good games. Now, where does Marquesas, which I'm going to need to look up how to spell. Okay. I'm just going to put season 4 for now because I don't know. Sorry, my mind's going a bit and I'm not going to remember how to spell that. So I'll add that later. But where are we going to put it in terms of the spelling? It's definitely above Australian Outback. I think it's below Borneo for me, just because there was big characters and they were fun, but they kind of went out earlier than I would have liked, leading to no idea how to spell it. So we'll correct that after. But Marquesas is going number 3 for favorite season. I think it was a really good one. And then let's just take a look at this. So Tevin, Michelle, and Boogie were the most strategic. I didn't really see Boogie making anything great strategically, but I absolutely agree with these two. Michelle played a very good social and strategic game, and same with Tevin. They both actually did. Tevin did some weird things with some of those votes with Sabaya, which honestly potentially could have cost him the game, right? Because I think if he would have put more of that strategic work in during that time, he would have potentially had stronger bonds. What he had to do is then makes a bunch of good moves once Sabaya goes, keeps himself safe, but he was also immune there, right? He never actually survived a vote when he wasn't immune after Sabaya went home. So pulled that group together to pull off that blindside on, who did he? He pulled the blindside of where they turned on Chelsea. But then when he's unimmune, he goes out right away. So absolutely he's playing a good strategic game. I just would have liked to see him put it on earlier. With that being said, we're going to end off this season here. Looking forward to Survivor Thailand and hoping that it can be better than the real Survivor Thailand because that's one of the worst seasons ever.